Hey, Chris, I'm excited about having this conversation with you about anxiety.
Mhm.
I know we've had a number of conversations about just the impact of anxiety and how to deal with it. And I wondered if you would be willing to share just a bit about your own experience in dealing with anxiety and the kinds of things that like bring it on, how it happens.
Yeah, sure. Well, I've dealt with anxiety for as long as I can remember. I've been diagnosed with it officially as an adult,
Mhm.
um, and as far as you know what triggers anxiety is different for everybody, of course. And for me, I think there have been some general triggers out there. I know that really uncomfortable, awkward confrontations with people do it for me.
Mhm.
Um, and I think there's a big part of me that really wants people to, you know, like me, and I don't want to see, I don't want people to look at me as messing up or failing at something, and so that puts a lot of added pressure. Uh, but I think one of the things with the anxiety that I experience too is that those are kind of general triggers.
Mhm.
I don't really, I can't, it's hard to pinpoint uh, specific instances
Yeah.
when I start feeling anxiety and what the cause was.
Mhm.
Um, I know that different people experience anxiety in different ways. Uh, I feel it very much in my chest and in my head. It really feels like I'm in a cloud. And I know this sounds really weird, but it's like I'm in a fog and I'm kind of floating, and I feel like I cannot function.
Mhm.
You know, um, I experience a lot of heavy breathing. All those a lot of classic symptoms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've had this for a long time in your
Mhm.
life. Then you get married, and so Kristen comes into the picture, and
She
she
didn't know what she was getting herself into.
and she's trying to figure out how to be helpful.
Yeah.
So when you guys have had conversations
Hmm.
about what happens when you are in that moment and what she can do, what are the kinds of things that you guys have come up with that have been helpful?
Yeah. Well, just to kind of start that off, I got to tell you, it does take open conversation about it and
Mhm.
honest feelings and honest, trying to relate and understand. And Kristen's been really wonderful about that. Uh, the biggest thing, really, that Kristen uh, understands is that anxiety is not something that it feels like it can be fixed. It's
Yeah.
not an on and off switch that I can control.
Yeah.
It's not something that she can do step A, B, and C, and then it's gone. But for her, really, she knows it's something that she walks through with me. She's present with me in if there's an episode or panic attack of some kind,
Mm.
and the presence itself, her being there, it helps so very much. Um,
You make me think about, I'm totally aging myself at this point, but I just remember Bob Newhart
mhm.
when someone would come into his practice as a psychiatrist and they would say something like, "I'm having panic attacks," and he would be like, "Well, just stop it. Just
Right.
stop. You can't just stop it. It comes on and out of nowhere, and then what?" Yeah.
Yeah. In our initial conversations when we were first married, sometimes ran in that direction,
Mhm.
before we really got to talking about it and understanding more of what anxiety entails.
Yeah, because
Um,
it's tempting to just say, "Well, just don't do that. If it makes you uncomfortable and you feel bad, don't
right.
do that."
And I think I'll speak for anybody who experiences it. If I could stop it, I would.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
great point.
But
So her presence is one, and
mhm,
then not trying to fix it. What
right.
else?
Well, one thing too, I know that because it's something that you cannot turn off or on, but you manage through it. What she's been really good at is helping me to get my mind off the feeling
Hmm.
that I'm experiencing. Uh, because if I knew what caused it, I could get my mind off of the cause. I
Right.
don't always know that. Rarely, actually, do I know that. But the feeling that's inside me, that heavy pressure and that kind of
A
thing.
billion pounds on your chest.
Right. It hurts. Honestly, it hurts.
Yeah.
She's really good at saying, well, let's do something to kind of refocus on something else. And it might be we go for a walk, and a breath of fresh air and just walking with somebody helps. Sometimes we just turn on one of our funny TV shows that we like to watch, and the humor and us laughing together really honestly, sometimes it's her sitting there laughing at the show and I'm dealing with this watching it, but it helps. And I might be a little bit more plain faced than normal, but she understands that. And it's part of the process of working through.
It's almost like it's a recalibration process,
Yeah, that's a good word for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And because you don't always know how long that recalibration is going to take. And I can't explain it. I have no idea what the rhyme or reason is. Sometimes it takes me, 5 minutes and I'm okay. And sometimes it's, 45 minutes or an hour before I'm feeling back to normal. And why that is, Julie, I have no idea.
I think it's just part of it.
Yeah.
With the little bit of time that we have left,
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk just a bit about the conversations that you were able to have with Kristen. And I'm probably stereotyping here. I imagine everybody has issues with this, but I think sometimes as men, it might be really hard to talk about something like this because in general, guys like to fix things, don't like to feel out of control, don't want to come across as weak. And when you're dealing with something like this, it just seems like that goes against all of those things and can really work against you being able to deal effectively with this.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I like to think of myself as a fixer. I really do. Something gets broken in the house, I've got the tools in the garage to do it.
Yeah.
Something goes wrong with the mower, I've got the manual there to help me out, whatever. The thing about anxiety is there are no fix-it tools.
Mm-hmm.
You got some management tools, you got some strategies, but as far as, you just got to tighten up the bolt or whatever, and that takes care of it. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
As a guy, it's a real shot in the pride.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is just my guess is that that's probably why so many men deal with anxiety, but they don't go seek the help for it.
Yeah.
It's hard to admit. I mean, just to be real with you, I feel dumb. I feel really dumb when I feel it because I feel like it's something I should be able to take care of. I just can't. And again, that's where my wife really comes into play really well. She validates my feelings. Sometimes when I'm putting myself down for it, she calls me on it and says, understand what you're going through and the normality of it, even if it's not what you want to happen to you. This is something that happens to people, and there's another side to it. We work through it. As a guy, again, it's tough to think about going through something you can't fix, but Kristen has been really good about helping me with that aspect of it too.
Well, it is so lonely when you're trying to navigate through something like that by yourself. And you do, just like you said, you start telling yourself so many things that may not be accurate. And I love the way that you guys have really approached this as a team effort. So you're willing to actually acknowledge that it's happening, tell Kristen that it's happening, and then she is willing to engage with you, be present, do something that's a distraction, and also just remind you who you are and that this doesn't define you. And to me, that's incredibly powerful.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And I'll say this too, just I know that when I do feel that way, when I have an episode that comes on, I feel alone in it. And I feel like it's really easy when you go through stress or depression or anxiety or anything like that. You're the only one that knows what it is to feel this way.
Right.
And of course, the truth is that that's not true. There's so many people that do, but also having that person there next to you who's seeking to understand, even if they're not going through it too, that's so powerful. It's something. Yeah.
Yeah. Great words. Thank you so much for just being willing to share and be transparent about living through that, and being willing to walk on, not letting it paralyze you. So
That's my pleasure.